So, I've got a couple of questions for you. These three shots I'm about to hit, do these resemble your golf? We're just looking at different shape shots, one working right to left. We're looking at more shape, different trajectories, different distances. And if all these things happen to you, do you really panic that you're making a completely different golf swing each time? Well, what if I told you you're not actually making a different swing, but you're doing something really simple that's wrong that you won't be doing by the end of today's video? That'll be okay, won't it? So 3 completely different golf shots, and yet my swing, believe it or not, is pretty consistent, and most golfers I see are actually a lot more consistent with the way they swing the club than they give themselves credit for. But I think the danger with practice, through complacency, and sometimes when we get on the course, is we forget some of the fundamentals. So we'll tend to hold it well and stand decently. But the thing that changed there is just simply my ball position. So on my first shot with my 6-iron, I had the ball just very slightly forward of centre. On the second shot, I had the ball towards the back. And on the final one, I had the ball towards the front. And it is amazing that if you deliver the club or swing the club in the same way, but have the ball position different, the golf ball's in a different part of the golf swing, therefore the path's going to change, the angle of attack, the loft, therefore the flight, the distance, the backspin. And so many golfers I see, and particularly one of the golfers I saw today, who'd been playing in some very windy conditions and had kind of moved his ball position a little bit deliberately, but it had become more and more exaggerated. He'd really lost the shape of shot, and he hadn't realised what a big difference the ball position made. So I'm going to hit just a normal shot for me with the ball slightly forward of centre with my 6-iron, and I'm going to show you the ball flight and some of the numbers on how my delivery of my golf club is. And then by putting the ball position in different places, I'm going to show you how the club is delivered differently and why we would see that shot. So like I said, ball position just very slightly forward. Okay, that one's setting off just a little bit left and turning over, which is my stock shot. But we can see there, the club path was nearly 5 degrees from the inside. The ball launched at 14 degrees. My low point was 3.4 inches ahead. Spin was a little bit low at just under 5,000, but carry at 177 yards. Now, as a general rule, I'd be fairly happy with that. That probably just shaped a little bit more than I would like. But what I tend to see with a lot of golfers is they tend, because I think they're trying to get underneath the golf ball, to get the ball further and further forward. So I'm now going to move the ball really up in my stance. And I'm going to make the same swing or a very similar swing, and I want you to watch how the delivery of the club changes. So it felt very similar, a little bit toey with the strike, but we can see my club path now is almost 6 degrees out to in. We can see launched much higher at 21 degrees. Because there was more loft, the ball really spun up at nearly 7,000, and then the carry's down at 160. So majority of golfers I see, and I'm sure you might be one of them, tend to shape the ball from left to right if they're a right-handed golfer. And when that ball position is too far forward in the stance, it's so easy for that path to be working a little bit more left, very often because the low point's behind the golf ball, but they then really struggle for strike, lots and lots of loft. And even if they manage to get the ball on line, the ball just doesn't go very far. So that's when that ball position creeps forward. When that ball position creeps further back, which is what my client the other day had been doing, playing in the wind, trying to keep the ball down. So a much lower flight, which obviously helped, but we can see how that club path now is almost 8.5 degrees from the inside. The low point's a lot further forward. the carry was still actually down because the ball's gone low with no backspin. It just doesn't stay in the air long enough. So what we need to do is really, in practice, get into a good routine of making sure ball position is correct. Now, a lot of the time golfers talk about ball position relative to feet, and it's obviously important, but for me, talk about much more relative to your body. So I would say never get the ball further back than your sternum, which if your weight's 50-50 is the middle of your feet, and never further forward than your armpit with driver. So I would say with most of your irons, opposite your sternum, or just maybe half an inch further forward. And if you can kind of get into that habit of addressing the ball in the same place with the same club, gives you your best chance when you swing the club on a similar fashion to present the path, the face, the angle of attack, all the things that influence where the golf ball is going to go and how it's going to fly in a much better fashion. So like I said, just slightly forward of centre for me. Put my swing on it. Really good strike. There's my little draw. So we can see slightly from the inside at 2.8 degrees. My low point nicely forward, 4.4 inches. Launching at 15.6. 5,200 spin and 184 carry. But it's really important this, you know, it's so easy when you're on the driving range to maybe have something down on the ground, but when you play, you don't get that opportunity. So try and, if you can, as part of your setup, get your hands on the club, get the club behind the golf ball, feel where that ball is relative to your body, build your stance around that golf club. And being honest, for somebody like me, if I wanted to maybe not shape it as much, I could then move my ball position a little, couldn't I? If I nudged my ball a little further forward, in theory my path will be a bit straighter. Might hit it a touch higher, but shouldn't see that draw. So let's nudge it forward, make that swing. And we can see there, that path almost dead straight, low point ahead, launching just under 18 degrees. Didn't go quite as far, I didn't quite get that one if I'm being honest. But if you can make sure that the fundamentals are good and the ball position is such an important part of your setup, that even if you're swinging in a similar fashion, we know that that club moves on an arc around your body. So when the ball's further back, the club's still traveling from the inside. When the ball's further forward, that club's working left or more out to in. So very often, some of your bad shots might not be because of a bad swing. Could be that you've got the ball in the wrong part of your golf swing. And if you can make sure ball position's correct, you're just going to hit a whole lot of good shots. So you can see you don't always have to hammer yourself about not making a great golf swing. Sometimes just setting up slightly wrong, even with a good swing, means the ball's in the wrong part of your swing, the delivery of the club's different, and then obviously the shot is different. So if you've enjoyed today's Friday Fix sponsored by Players Fuel, I'd love it if you dropped a comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you enjoyed the video and you don't subscribe, however, click the button below, ring the notification bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Click over there to watch a video that I think will help your golf game. Hopefully see some of you soon. Stay in contact.